kind of just going to free flow the kōrero and talk about it from a rongoa Māori practitioner perspective and how we, on behalf of all our whānau that practice, take our relationship to the Maramataka. So when I went and done my rangahau last week, Auntie Tommy Pirika pulled me up and she said to me, not Maramataka, that means calendar, that means any day of the year and everything. The Māori Maramataka, she said to me, to emphasise in our kōrero today. So hence the kaupapa that I'm about to speak to you about. We on? Okay, so the whakapapa to this, The whakapapa to how our whānau got into it is Nani Merepaia Henry no Ngāti Pukia. She was kind of like our whānau, our healer tohunga that we would always go and acquaint ourselves. So if the Pākehā medicine wasn't working, off my mum would take us down to sit there in her house for hours at a time and just kōrero, sing waiata. And I used to always think as a child, like, what the heck, what does my mother do with us and everything? But now that I've come into adulthood, I do have an understanding to why it is the way it is and why it was protected, Goes back to the Tohunga Suppression Act 1910, where we weren't allowed as people to practice who we are. So I understand that from time to time when things weren't going right, my mum would take us off and make time and go and see Nani Merepaia Henry. Also hail to the Thursdays and Auntie Ruby's from down in Kahununu, to the Auntie Rita and Auntie Mate and Auntie Maud from Waiohau, who practice their clinics too back home on their whenua. I've learnt a lot in terms of my experience and my hikoi. Are we on yet? With the practice of rongoa Māori. Why do I do it? Because it creates a peace for myself. To my whānau that personally know me, a bit of a fiery wildcat. You know what I mean? I think it comes with the nature of being in the centre of my universe back home at Rotorua. I do a lot of mahi with our whānau, also our boys. That I kind of have to have that balance when it comes to practicing rongoa Māori. I've done it in all aspects. I was privileged by Hahaitu from Lifewise, where I crossed paths with Jay to be able to practice with our whānau recovering from addiction. Also, my question or part is around how does the Maramataka influence the use of rongoa? I'm not going to go through the day by day. I think we've already done that from 1 to 30 days of the month. I'm going to talk more so about the relationship as us as practitioners do with the Maramataka. Whatu naro te tangata, toitu te whenua. What does this mean? Like as it says in the Pākehā translation, as man disappears, the land remains. It's also about the relationship with Papa Tuanuku and how I nurture that over time in terms of my practice in rongoa Māori. Like we've shared in all of our kōrero today, the Māori Maramataka is guided by the lunar cycle of the month. For me, my interpretation, it nurtures the whakapapa of all living things and a greater understanding of te tāiao. So back home in terms of my whenua, we are going harvest o mai rongoa e Rotorua tikitere. It's about knowing. Like Pa had shared earlier today, the rongoa is actually on the outside, more opposed to being actually right in our ngāhere. So and I also got told by my kuia, the whenua will tell you what our whānau need. So back home at tikitere Rotorua, kawakawa, tātara more easily accessible for us to use for our whānau. Like I said before, we're not going to talk really about the months, we're going to talk about the seasons, knowing how to read the elements, our relationships with mana atua. So like everything, Matariki is the time of the Māori New Year, but it's also the time for us as practitioners to harvesting, to store. Pai? And it also around July, August, again, it's about knowing your whenua and having your relationship with your mana atua. The rongoa of the sea is available. An example of that would be karino, to keep it simple. September is roundabout is the harvesting, the end of the harvesting to store, and also it starts to lead into our whare Wānanga finishes, but I'll talk about that more later. If you notice, if you look through what I've put up, and sorry if it seems minute, kawakawa is readily available. So my understanding and my learning, because I work quite got quite a strong relationship with our kawa whānau, is that he and whakapapa is kind of like the top dog, for me, in terms of my interpretation. You can use him in every which way, from a poultice to internal to a lot of things, whānau. And he, back home, on my whenua, because I'll go straight back to where I know, is readily available, access. You even see the likes of Hell's Gate. You see all their workers go down there and harvesting for their, to take back and show you the tourist side of it. Summer months, like leading spring into summer months, is the hamas of the kumara. So that's based in, before I carry on with that, kumara cannot be harvested here because he loves the sun, the kumara whānau. And you tend to harvest him when his mauri is at his full strength, basically when he's flowering. Also is November to March is the time of our poisonous rongoa can be harvested too. Example of that being tutu and kōwhai. Again, I'm liking it back to here in Tarewa in terms of what we can access here. As you see down the bottom, I've got the practical / theoretical. So up to 6 months is a practical time, harvesting to store, starting to gather all our rongoa that we need for use. Theoretical is the Wānanga. So Wānanga is basic. When I was talking to one of my good friends from down in Kahununu, kawairunga, kawairaro. Basically meaning celestial learnings, kawairunga, kawairaro, the everyday maintain of the welfare of mankind. And as you can see, so when we're not doing our mahi in terms of the hands-on mahi, well, we go into Wānanga. I was given an opportunity to go to Te Miringa o Te Kākara over at Benidorm, one of the places that this type of hui or kaupapa was taught. And again, the ritual practice with that was they teach from sunrise in Wānanga to sunset. That was just the day-to-day of how it run and the different people that I have spoke to throughout my journey. And the learning of aloari, the in-depth, let's unpack that and see what that looks like in terms of that forum. Te tai ao, so how does this impact us in terms of us as practitioners in today's reality is the climate changes and global warming. So global warming to me in a simple term is Papatuanuku's got a fever, and that fever or that temperature is from the misuse of her, the misuse of the resources. These are some of the challenges that we come up against as practitioners. When she's got her fever and her, how does that impact? The rongoa starts to not become available for us. And wherever you come from in terms of your whenua. As a practitioner, so if I can bring that into how I do our mahi and how I've been taught throughout my walk, it's about the rituals of practice, knowing harvesting for purpose. Don't just harvest because you want it. You know, it's knowing what you're treating in terms of that whānau. So it goes back to whare tapa whā, mason jury. When you have an assessment, when you use that assessment tool to apply that to our people, you can tell straight away what type of rongoa from our ngāhere needs to be accessed for our whānau. Usually, in my own personal experience, taha hininaro, the first place that goes on our whānau is head stuff. Once you get the head stuff going, that's when it starts to impact up on the physical, or you got whānau, you got whānau raru going on, which again means that the physical is basically the end result of how we do our mahi, where we treat. There's all a lead up to the reason to why it is what it is for whānau at different times. Accessibility, so like as we already know from my kōrero, kumara is not available. So I go to my whānau from the coast, Heather McGinnity over in Whakatāne, which is available around about December, and she'll harvest for me to bring back because I can keep that over a period of months. I've got whānau over Maniapoto that will come through and bring me 3 big boxes of rongoa and just leave it on my doorstep and throw me a text and say, I've left you rongoa there for you to use. It's about whakawhanaungatanga, knowing your relationships with your whānau. You know, if it's not readily available here, tap it to go get it, Availability, so the seasonal changes. I was talking to Thursday 2 weeks ago, and she says to me to talk about that, and I know that we've talked about it in our kōrero today. So down in Kahununu, because we know it's beautiful and warm down there, they will tend to get their rongoa maybe 2 to 3 weeks ahead of back here in Tarewa. So it's about, again, knowing your relationship with your whenua and what that looks like. As a part of our kaupapa back home at the pā, in terms of running the rongoa Māori Wānanga, my whānau or my team that support this kaupapa would say I'm the health and safety queen, because the importance are wairua. As much as it is about the rongoa kaupapa, it's also about keeping safe a wairua, because a lot of people seem to want to play in realms that is unfamiliar to them, when it's all about the safety of us as practitioners and the safety of the whānau that we're working with. And what does that look like? In a simple version, is karakia. So when I first started this work, which has been 15 years in the making, I went to see my kuia who comes from Ngāti Raukawa ki Wharipuhunga. So Praoni Brown and all of them, they're all my whānau, just to put the name on the map if you don't know. And she sat with me one night and wrote my karakia, more so to keep me safe and to keep all my whānau safe. And it goes a little bit like this. E te atua, anei opo ronorai, ino i atu nei ki a koe, ki a tukua mai to korowai aroha, ki rungi a mātaka tō i tēnei wā. Whakatūwhera mai, te kuaha, te tika, te pono, te mātauranga, kia taua te rangi Māori, nau hoki te rangi tiratanga, me te kaha, me te krore, moa ki toru atu. Āmene. And that, on behalf of that whānau, I'd just like to give you the brief snippet of in terms of what we do as our mahi as rongoa. Kia ora.
Continue down this vein, there's going to be no rongoa. We then can no longer be healed. Has the thought of synthetic rongoa been risen anywhere, or are we going to reverse it? Because I know we've had mass extinctions as a planet, and when Papatūānuku is unwell, will be all mass extinct. Of people, animals, us.
Yep.
But Papatūānuku, whatu ngaro te tangata poi tū te whenua, the whenua will still remain.
Yeah.
And us as a people will disappear. And that's our reality at the end of the day, is that we will disappear, the land will stay. But I'm just asking a question, have we ever thought about synthetic?
Personally, no. I think at the end of the day, we need to take account that rongoa rākau from our ngāhere is always going to be readily available. The actual rongoa is within ourselves. So I think in terms of how we teach rongoa Māori back home at the pā, yeah, one, it's a vehicle to bring our people home, because we as whānau are starting to see that our people are dwindling, and or more so back home at Pikirangi are not coming home at all. So it's more so about creating that awareness for our whānau also. And like Michael Jackson said, it's about looking at the man in the mirror, and it starts there, whānau. Kia ora.
I'm just curious, for your own experience of learning about rongoa, is that something that you grew up with around you, or is that something that you pursued on your own, and if so, where did it come from?
I grew up with it. So Neri Miripaia Henry, in terms of my mum always made sure that if the Pākehā medicine wasn't working, we go to the doctor, and we're not getting better, she'd straight away just take us down to have a hui with Neri Miripaia, and then she'll do her magic and, out of there. Pai?
Kia ora te tauhine. You talked about the hinengaro, working on the hinengaro pui. Like from the point of using the rongoa to seeing those steps for our whānau in that headspace, what was the time for them for you to be able to say, oh yeah, why we can move on to the next step.
Okay. If I can just give you an example from our Wānanga back home at the pa is that whare tapa whā, I call it the self-care assessment. So when our whānau first come in, usually on second Wānanga, we run it over a period of 4 months. I'll get them to actually use their whare tapa whā and assess themselves. And from there, it usually 9 times out of 10 is taha hine naro, because the thoughts, usually we're doing so much all at once. And from there, I suppose what does that look like for us is, in terms of treating that part is, we'll put a rongoa, say like Taharangi, he's my favourite, because his job is to relax, opposed to kawa, who kawa is more so about pulling and removing and clearing. Does that make sense?
I was quite amazed that, like say with kaukura, the way you pick it is for various ailments. How you pick it. Do you pick it on at certain times? I know you said.
Everybody will, yeah. For ourselves, we usually like to pick morning. Early morning is the best, because it goes again back to understanding that that's when it's at, the mauri is when it's at its strongest.
And also with this lady here about, if everything gets wiped out, someone said to me when I was on our after that, when you see all the birds coming back, it's healing the land's being healed.
I think it's about balance, how we use is what we're going to get to us as the rongoa whānau. But yeah, pai. Thank you to Thursday.
I'm from Whakatane and I put my ears up at Hila. I used to go to school with her sister. And I just wondered if she in the group down there, is she contactable or is she doing it by herself?
So Heather's part of our rongoa whānau. She comes through and does all our mahi for us here. But she actually has a close relationship with Nanny Rose Piri down in Waikaremoana. So Ngāti Awa Social Services, find her there. That's the best thing.